say thank you both so much for joining me for this National Small Business Week celebration kickoff. This is the celebration before the big activities that begin next week in DC, and I am extremely grateful to have both of you here to join me as we lead into a really celebratory week next week. We have some exciting information and news to share, and much to talk about. And so, without further ado, I want to say welcome to both of you. Herb Austin, who is the District Director of the United States Small Business Administration here locally in Texas. And I have Dora Zapata with the UPS Foundation, who is the Community Relations Manager. And we both have worked together for some time, over, I would say, a span of 20 years. And Herb, I've known you for, I think, about the same amount of time, and always grateful to have an opportunity to talk with you all because of your commitment to the community and also your commitment to the small business community. So thank you both for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So Herb, if you would just give me about 60 seconds to explain what you do with the Small Business Administration. And then Dora, if you would take a moment to explain what you do with the UPS Foundation. Herb?
Thank you so much, Cynthia, for inviting us to join you today. What I do with the SBA is really manage an office. We have 68 offices like mine in the US, and every office has a manager, someone to manage it. And I have a small staff of about 12 people here. When I started with the SBA 35 years ago, offices used to have 40, 50, 60 people. But things have changed. The way we do business now, we make it easier for the small business customers to get access. So we and the other all offices do the very same thing. We manage three major SBA programs and services. We like to say the three C's, which is essentially the first C would be the capacity building. The people who call us are those who want to start a business or expand their business. They're looking for assistance. And what the SBA does, the SBA provided not directly, but through organizations that are funded by the SBA, such as SCORE, the SBDCs, the Women Business Centers, the Veteran Business Outreach Centers. So that's where we send our customers for assistance. The second thing that we do is a capital. It's people are looking for financing, and many times they cannot get it conventionally, but they may have a case that is not so bad for the bank to really say no. So now they are able to use the government guarantee in order for those loans to be approved and be made. And we do in my district office every year for the last 14 years, I do over $1 billion, $1 billion to repeat, nationwide about 40 billion a year. I am number 3 every single year in lending in the United States. And so we do very, very good. And the third thing that we do is the third C would be contracting opportunities. The government of the United States is the largest purchasers of goods and services in the world. And by law, by statute, 23% of the purchases must be from small businesses. So we are the gatekeeper in a way. We are the one to make sure that small businesses are in a position to compete for it, even though they are sole source, but we want to make sure that they can compete among themselves, to participate in the program. And then we do very, very well as well in this office. So we're talking about the 8A program, which is very well known. We have the Women-Owned Small Business Program. We have the Hub Zone firms that are located in the underserved area, underrepresented area. And we have the Veterans program as well, which used to be self-certified. Now the SBA has taken it over, and they do the certification for the veterans.
That's news to me. Okay, thank you for sharing that. I recently had Elisa Jones on our first kickoff at the beginning of the year with the Women-Owned Business Certification Program, and she was able to shed a great deal of light that I wasn't aware of as to how that program works and how they work to support women-owned businesses as well. So thank you for sharing about the veteran businesses and the opportunities for contracting and how you help to get people, connect people to opportunities.
Right. Right.
Excellent. Dora, the UPS Foundation. Tell me all about your role and what you all are focused on.
Yeah. Thank you, Cynthia, for the invitation. It's nice to be with you all this morning. So I've been in community development work, mostly for banks, for about 20 years. And last year, I made the jump to UPS, which is a new industry for me, but certainly UPS has been involved in community for many, many years. And as a transportation and logistics company, one of our biggest priorities in the work of the foundation is around equity and economic empowerment. And with small businesses being such an important customer segment for UPS, looking for ways to sort of increase our participation in the way that we nurture and support small businesses through some of our investments. So in addition to the work that we do under equity and economic empowerment, we have a huge priority in planet protection as well as in humanitarian relief. And that's really our bread and butter, because we like to leverage our logistical capital. And when there's humanitarian crises going on around the world, UPS is ready to respond. And I think we're in a position to be responsive as it pertains to the support that we're able to provide to small businesses from a business perspective, as well as from a philanthropic perspective. So look forward to sharing more about the work that we're doing together in Dallas.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you. And so now I'll start to now ask questions that I was able to think about. How can I add value and make sure that small business owners understand the value of the National Small Business Week celebration? And so I'll start there, and then I'll also highlight the two Texas winners of this for this year. So the National Small Business Week is a national recognition event to honor the United States' top entrepreneurs each year. This distinguished group of small business owners are held each year by the United States Small Business Administration. There's a voting and nominating period that occurs each year. And then there's the committee that reviews those applications, and they select some really outstanding small businesses who actually are growing by leaps and bounds. And for this year, Texas's winner is Tamiko Bailey. She is the CEO of Bailey's Premier Services, and the Small Business Subcontractor of the Year is Knowledge-Based Systems out of College Station, Texas. And so I want to say congratulations to Tamiko Bailey, woman-owned business out of, I want to say that they're out of Tarrant County. So congratulations to them on this extraordinary honor, as well as to Knowledge-Based Systems in College Station. Tamiko has built her business to, I want to say, multi-million-dollar company in the airplane parts industry. And I was taking a look at her website and all that they have done and what they've done to build their business and their contracts. And it's phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal what she's built over there in Tarrant County. So again, congratulations to Tamiko Bailey of Bailey's Premier Services for this year's Texas Small Business Entrepreneur of the Year. And without further ado, I want to move forward and talk about how important this Small Business Week celebration is. Herb, can you talk a bit about the importance of this week and how important it is to celebrate small businesses? Because if you are a small business owner, we know how difficult and hard and rewarding business ownership can be. Why is this week so important?
Yeah, for the SBA, it's been over 60 years. The President Kennedy, I think, is the one who had decided the first week of May to be a small business week. For us, somebody put it the right way. Somebody said it's like the final of the National Football League. When you play the final game, for us, it's the final. It is huge. It's a huge focus, the SBA for that week, to celebrate the small business owners who are really the backbone of the US economy. So it's important. At every office of SBA, they have activities. I think in Washington, D.C., they have the main activity starting this coming weekend. We here hours where we will be giving awards, not just a small business person of the year, but we also have other categories of things that we're going to be giving to people next Thursday. So we have an organization called SCORE in Tarrant County. They are the organizer for us. We just have to show up with the awards and give them out. Very significant. So the keynote speaker for us will be someone from headquarters, so people from headquarters, that's one time they are asked whether you're an administrator, whether you are a deputy associate administrator, you are asked to be out in the field, to join the district and present. So it's big. Every office also is required to do an activity. Thank you so much again, Cynthia, for inviting us, because starting today, we have an activity every single day as required by the agency. Every single day of starting today, ending on Sunday, next Sunday. We have an activity going on, again, to celebrate small businesses. They are very deserving of that celebration. They work very hard. They are, again, the heart and soul of the U.S. economy, and they deserve a week where, we should be celebrated.
I love to hear it. Thank you so much for shedding some light. I am displaying the website for the National Small Business Week for those of you who may not have heard about this celebratory week. It is a big deal. It is an opportunity for meeting, for networking, for collaboration and celebration. There are many deals that are made in DC and at these events. And so if you are not familiar, I definitely invite you to visit sba.gov to find out more about the virtual summits that take place, as well as the in-person activities that happen across the US and in DC. So moving forward, as we continue our conversation on good news, Dora, let's talk about the UPS Foundation's now new engagement with helping and supporting economic development in a unique way. Can you talk about what you all's focus is this year, and then maybe shed some light on what we're going to be doing this year?
Yes, I would be happy to. I'm really excited, actually. Dallas is a priority city for the UPS Foundation. And we have many societal issues that need to be solved to make sure that, we have a level playing field and that people have access to opportunity, right? And one of the issues that keeps rising to the top is income inequality. In Texas, we've got 4 out of every 10 Texans that makes less than $15 an hour. And as a company, trying to figure out how does UPS and the UPS Foundation show up to support and give people a lift. And we've identified workforce development as a huge priority that we want to invest deeply in. And one of the pillars for workforce development that nurtures sort of that ecosystem is entrepreneurship. Right. And so, in identifying who does this work best outside of partners like the SBA who do incredible work, we've got Cynthia Nevels, who leads Integrality in partnership with Dallas College, offering a really amazing accelerator program and education initiative with Start.Pivot.Grow. And just as I was looking at how do we partner together with these entities and the UPS Foundation, knowing that UPS is known for innovation, knowing that we have the infrastructure to help support e-commerce, right, and leveraging our logistical expertise to make sure that even the smallest of small businesses can have a global footprint. We've decided that we want to partner with Cynthia and with Dallas College to support the Start.Pivot.Grow program and give people access to educational resources, as well as knowledge about franchising through our network with the UPS stores. And so I'm really excited to announce that we're going to be investing in Dallas College and Integrality $250,000 to help bring more of those resources into the Dallas community. And that will be that will include the grant funding that will provide the education. It will provide grants to the pitch competition winners and many, many other things that we're continuing to explore with Cynthia and with Dallas College. So really excited to kick this off this week during National Small Business Week. I think there's going to be lots of opportunity for people to get involved in some of this work, especially if they're interested in growing and even getting into franchising.
This is a wonderful announcement, and we're thrilled to partner with you all and also to bring it close to home when it comes to accessing capital as well. And prior to our call, I had asked Herb about franchise in lending in that space and what's changed. And so I want to, before I dive into that conversation, thank you, Dora, for your innovative thinking and your openness to looking at this landscape and seeing how can you guys get involved and make a difference in the lives of small business owners. So I appreciate you all's commitment and hard work in this building and shaping this idea, and also your commitment of funding to support it as well. Thank you. Herb, so I had asked the question about franchise lending and what's changed in SBA. And I believe in 2023, you all had made some changes that impact the franchising industry. Can you talk a little bit more about those changes and what's opened up?
Yes, of course. And the agency seems to be making changes to everything. Every other day, something new.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So the major changes in the franchising and affiliation in the form of the SOP 5010-7, and it's a short list. For example, affiliation is a big deal. It will no longer be established through management or management agreement or identity of interest between close relatives, or franchise, license, and similar agreements. SBA will no longer publish the SBA franchise directory. And for the last one is the SBA lenders no longer provide franchise ID in E-Trend.
So these are major changes that could potentially help the process of accessing capital for franchises. Is that
absolutely? Absolutely.
Yeah, I remember when I was processing SBA loans during the pandemic. That was one of the areas that was kind of a catch-22 for franchises that were seeking capital. It was just a little bit more complicated than the normal lending process, and so that barrier being removed is a light at the end of the tunnel, I do believe.
Indeed.
Excellent. And so, Dora, really quickly, because I know that you have to hop into a meeting, one of the things that we're going to be focused on is, yes, education and also technical assistance, but we also want to focus on enlightening folks who may be interested in becoming a franchisee and connecting with a franchisor. We want to also remove that barrier because of the equitable opportunity to distribute economic advancement for folks who may not have thought about becoming a franchisee. And so why is that important in your opinion, Dora?
Yeah, I think access to I talked about access to opportunity. I think there are ways for companies like UPS to bring down some of those barriers. One in particular, the franchise fees sometimes can pose a barrier. And I think, if we were to show up in a way, so in addition to the grant, obviously we have the UPS store network. And I don't know how many of you know about, we have a diversity UPS Store Diversity Ownership Program that helps to waive 50% of the fees associated with owning a UPS store. But we want to, do even more. And so our UPS store executive has agreed to waive the fee 100% if someone is interested in a UPS store franchise through the Start.Pivot.Grow program. We're interested in working with some of you to help bring access to opportunity in that way.
I love that. That is such good news because owning your own franchise, your own store in a marginalized community could be that opportunity to build wealth for yourself and your family. And oftentimes we may think that it's out of our reach. And now we're trying to demonstrate and show with the help and support and changes in lending that this may not be out of your reach at all. And so I'm truly grateful for this opportunity and what we are preparing to launch next week during National Small Business Week. And so stay tuned for those of you who are on this call or who may watch the video in the future. Stay tuned for more announcements and opportunities as we begin to kick this off and share with the community. So thank you again, Dora. So let's talk more about changes in lending, in changes within, or opportunities, shall I say, that SBA is now offering. And so, Herb, let's talk about these, the changes that the America agenda includes, the investments that the administration is making in small businesses and the strides that you all are making and additional opportunities that you shared with me. So let's start with the American Rescue Plan. Can you share more about what's happening with that?
Sure. Of course, for us at the field level, it is very, very new. It has become the focus of this organization for the SBA because the president, through all those infrastructure bill, inflation reduction bill, so many of those, there's a total of over $1 trillion out there, that small businesses can also benefit. We don't want all the big business to take over everything. In infrastructure bill alone is close to $1 trillion. So what the SBA wants us to start going out and they recognize that we are not the department that takes care of, for example, energy rebate. This is not us. That's Department of Energy. Construction. This is Department of Transportation. So we will be following those folks as well if they have, for example, I understand that the Department of Transportation, the head of it was here in town the other day. And those are the opportunity for us to follow those guys and talk a little bit about what they are doing, and our small businesses can also participate. So what we don't want to happen is all the big contract going to a handful of companies. So they are sending us information. We have office hours almost 2-3 times a week to talk about this. There was a time this was not a focus. I mean, up to 2-3 weeks ago, we didn't hear much about what they had wanted us to do, because there was another issue with PPP, EIDL that you don't want to hear. but so suddenly they told us, well, stop making calls for PPP and EIDL. Concentrate on Invest in America. And recognizing the fact that, for example, the infrastructure bill, that money is going to state government. So we don't know yet whether Texas has, we know they have applied, but we don't know whether they have received the funds. So we don't want to be out there. Or there are states that have no interest. So they're expending all that to us, so we have constant, they call them office hours at 2, 3 p.m. in the afternoon to talk about that. We have to find out, for example, Texas applied, that we have a name of a person we can reach out to and work with, to know. So there's just the beginning of it. That's why the information I just sent you, I just got it yesterday afternoon. We didn't have anything at all to go out and start talking. We bitterly complain about the fact that during the call, they told us, okay, start going out and do this. And we said, but it's not in our purview. We have to rely on the organization or the department that is in charge of this. There's a lot of grants available, as well as a lot of rebate available, as you will read in the information I forwarded to you. Again, it's not directly with SBA. It's the Department of Energy, for example, in one of them. The other one has to do with the billions of dollars they're spending in so many things. So we're still in the learning curve, learning these things. And so that when we talk to small business owners, when we spoke at seminars, we can emphasize on the fact that these things are available to you as well. So we have the 8A program. We have a lot of construction firms. So it's easy to let them know of that. But beyond that, they may not be, in the 8A program, but they may be in something else. They may be very much on their own. But they also want to know about these opportunities so they can compete as well.
Thank you. So I have this list here. I'm going to walk through this list of opportunities and connect the dots here so that the viewers can understand what opportunities exist and how they can navigate it. So there's about 5 of them here. First is USDA. There's been a lot of talk about funding and opportunities through USDA, whether that's grant dollars or technical support. But the USDA is rolling out a Rural Energy for America program. It's called Rural Energy for America program, which provides guaranteed loan financing and grant funding to agricultural producers and rural small businesses for renewable energy systems or to make energy efficient improvements. And so if this is an area that your business is currently in or you're interested in, you can, if I heard you correctly, Herb, you can contact SBA in order to, during business hours, to inquire about the program and or the funding that could support anyone who's in the rural energy community or industry. Is that correct, Herb?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
Excellent. And then the next opportunity is the United States Department of Energy will soon begin offering home efficiency rebates and home electrification and appliance rebates. This will help with home repair and construction businesses to start and grow their businesses. So if you are in a home repair or construction business, you may be interested in the United States Department of Energy's home efficiency rebates and home electrification program. And in order to participate, you will need a certification that is being managed by each state. And more information about that certification can be found at the SBA Investing in America Small Business Hub. So Herb, I'm assuming that that's a website that folks can visit that's called SBA Investing in America. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It has a name to it. I think it's the www.sba.gov/IIA Hub.
IIA Hub.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. That's helpful. That's really helpful also because there are a number of construction businesses and home repair businesses who happen to be small businesses who may not know about this opportunity that's coming up. And so I'll make sure in our transcript, in our post of this summit, that I share that link to that website. And then the next opportunity in the from the Department of Transportation, they are managing funds provided by the bipartisan infrastructure law to improve American transportation infrastructure. So small businesses can visit the SBA, again, SBA Investing in America's Small Business Hub, to learn more about federal and state procurement opportunities, government certifications, surety bonds, and also it includes a guide for doing business with DOT, Department of Transportation. This may be a huge opportunity for those who are currently in transportation or interested in getting into the transportation industry. But keeping in mind, this is more so for infrastructure. So the dump trucks and the trailers and the tractors, those types of businesses that may be interested in infrastructure should definitely take a look at the Department of Transportation and the hub website, the American Small Business Hub. Next, manufacturing. One of the things that I often mention and talk about in my programming and education is that we don't have a lot of small businesses, in particular women-owned and small minority-owned, who go into manufacturing in large numbers. We often will see large numbers of folks who are in professional services and provide consulting services, but not a lot of manufacturers. And so this is a very interesting opportunity, whereas there's assistance for manufacturing that's being provided by the Department of Energy. This will allow manufacturers to save on energy costs, reduce energy and water waste, and access funding to implement upgrades in their facilities. And so my question to you, Herb, in this regard is, you all would be the guarantors for such funding, I'm assuming, for upgrades to manufacturing facilities?
Yes, yes, they can use the 7A program, depending, they can use the 504. And some of those, they also get grant money. So they may need additional funds. And I think there are some requirements of 50% of the money has to come from them, even though they can get a grant of half of it or something like that. So our loan programs will also be available to the small businesses who may need the money.
It's fantastic news, and a huge savings if you're able to navigate the process and the program. So that's with Department of Energy. Okay, that's great news. And then the other opportunity is high-speed internet contracting opportunities will be made available through the broadband. Oh, this is interesting. The Broadband Equity Access and Deployment Program, called BEAD. Again, that's called Broadband Equity Access Deployment Program, acronym BEAD. And you can connect with your local state broadband office to learn more about funding that will be coming to the area. And we may not know this answer, Herb, but do we know if Texas has received or will be receiving that funding for BEAD?
And I believe yes, but everything is going to happen and not now. Mm-hmm. I think maybe in a few more months. Mm-hmm. Again, everything is going to state governments, so one has to apply. By the time you get the money, you hire people to manage the program, internally. So it's in the works, really.
Everything's in the works. Well, we heard her first here, so people can get ready.
Right, exactly.
But these are wonderful opportunities because, as you mentioned, it's millions to billions of dollars that can be awarded to or accessed by small business owners who may be in these industries and did not know or are not aware of the opportunities and the funding that's available. And if they need help, they can book time, as I understand, during office hours with your office. And so how does one find out how to book that type of session?
And the office hours actually are done by DC for the field. So it's not organized by the local offices of SBA. It's headquarters, they say we have it. I think there is one later on, but I don't know whether the public, our constituents can participate in it.
Oh,
it is through them that we are getting a lot of information that we can pass on after we understand them well. But it's only for the field.
got it. So I'm going to share Investing in America website now. And for those that may be interested, as Herb mentioned before, that website is sba.gov/IIA hub.
Correct.
And so this should be displaying here on the screen. And this is a fantastic opportunity for folks to learn more about what's to come, because as Herb mentioned, it's being formulated, worked out, designed, developed, prepared so that folks can understand what these opportunities are. And luckily, these opportunities are listed here on this website for those of you who want to learn more about home repair and construction opportunity, the government contracting and subcontracting opportunity, manufacturing for those who are manufacturing. And sometimes, Dora, we don't think about e-commerce companies that are making millions of dollars, to which we will be focused on through our education program in partnership with the UPS Foundation and Dallas College Foundation. But they often are manufacturers. They're assembling their products that they're selling online to millions of folks. And we want to make sure that they are served. We also want to make sure that they have access to these resources, but we also want to make sure that they understand that UPS is there for them, especially when it comes to logistics and their shipping needs through their manufacturing facilities. Right, Dora?
That's right. I mean, I think there's many ways for us to continue to develop and deploy technology-enabled solutions to some of these organizations and small businesses. And so we're looking for those types of partnerships.
Excellent. And so we'll be talking more about this, especially with e-commerce and those who have manufacturing facilities, because this is a great opportunity to dive a little bit deeper into the resources that are available to those small businesses who are doing it themselves. Wonderful. And so that's it that I see here as it relates to investing in America. And so, Herb, I will bring it back to you to inquire about how can folks access resources that SBA has to offer.
Well, it's a phone call away. It's phone call away, or email away. People just have to call the office, and my direct line would be 817-684-5502. Email address herbert.austin@sba.gov. And we do answer the phone, and we do read emails and respond to them within hours. So anyone who is on the call right now who needs a little bit more information on this program, Investing in America, but furthermore may need something else, like we are very much focused, and very much like UPS, we are very much focused on international trade, for example. We think it's a way, particularly for the immigrants who come to the United States, who know it, have a lot of information, from back home. They know who the buyers are. So but they need the funding, they need to set up a company, even though it could be a middleman. So we are very focusing at SBA, particularly my office, on international trade. We do a specialized loan program for exporters as well. So a lot of things that we do here that the public may not be aware, since we don't really promote them heavily, because America is a country of, they don't export, they import a lot, but when you talk about the language of export, even to manufacturers, they find that it's an odd conversation because they will tell you, particularly the small business will tell you, Herb, I can't even open an office in New York City. You're telling me to go overseas now. I'm happy where I am, so and that's the thought process here. But we feel that there is a lot of opportunity. 95% of the world population is beyond the borders, our borders. So there is a lot of opportunities to do business overseas. And we are trying to not really selling it, but making sure that small business understand that there is a place they can come to and where they can speak to people about how to export and what does that mean, trade and things like that. So it's a good place to call if you need information. Again, this is my telephone number. People are looking for financing all the time, the small business, and my job is to be reaching out to lending institutions. We have more banks that make loans here in my district than anywhere else in the United States, believe it or not. So by the time the year ends, I'm already at $700 million in lending after 6 months. I'm going to double that amount by September 30th. How much small businesses are participating in it? Yes, it's all small business loans. My concern is, of course, I don't see enough of my people getting those loans, and so that's what I'm struggling with right now. So when Washington heard the $1 billion that we do, and they say, "Oh my God, the number 3 again, Herb," yes, but I'm not serving enough people. My average loan size is $850,000, the highest in the United States. So the call that I get from my people, the people who look like me, they need $50,000 to start a business. They need $100,000, and there hardly any bank in this town who will make a loan of $75,000 to a small business. Well, we refer them to the CDFIs, but we don't have that many. Live Fund and People Fund, they are the only ones, the only game in town for the small business who say, all I need is $30,000. I'm just at the starting stage, and this is a struggle for us here, at least for me, because I know I will end up the year with $1 billion. I know that Washington is looking at it, oh my God, very favorably, but I don't see it that way. When I do $1 billion a year and I'm serving 1,700 people, that can be right. It means a lot of my people, or whether they are Latinos from here, also, they're not going to the bank for $500,000 to start a business. They may get there. We hope they will. All they need is a small amount of money, and no one is willing to lend them. So what I'm doing lately is to talk to banks. Yesterday, I spent half a day with a bank who doesn't have a branch network, but they just have people working in the market. And they are number 1 lender in volume in the United States, and they are number 1 to date in volume with my office. So those are the people I'm trying to engage. Guys, do you go to South Dallas? They have businesses there too. You want to meet some? In that sort of language, because at the end of the day, that's the agency has their priorities, but I have my own. My own is to make sure that more people who look like me are getting financing so they can start a business. Because when they call you, I need $50,000, and they cannot get it anywhere, what do? They go back to work. They can find a job. So that's and that cycle goes on and on. And we're talking about how do we build money for our next generation. We can even do that because we can even get the starting line. So we mean, we talk to the clients and we share that kind of information. We talk to the lending communities all the time. Every quarter, I meet with a group of banks here called NTEGO, North Texas Association of Government Guaranteed Lenders. We talk to them, and my focus is always, guys, how many loans have you made the last 10 years in South Dallas? And come on, Herb, you always the same question, Herb, so they smile these days. They just smile at it because they know that we ask the same question all the time. I know the dollars are fine, even during the pandemic, I was doing $1.7 billion, so, getting the dollars is not a bad thing. But getting the volume, the people, how many people are getting those monies, that's my concern with the lending community here. And you just cannot fight it,
I agree. And so I think this is why this relationship that we have with you, lenders, CDFIs, UPS Foundation, Dallas College, and Integrality is so important, because we're doing the work on the front end to remove the barriers so that there are no excuses as to why the funding is not flowing equitably across communities. And so one of the tools that we introduced at the beginning of 2024 is a tool called Prep My Loan, whereas we walk the small business owner through the entire underwriting process in order for them to, the business owner, to understand this is what you can expect when you go and meet with an SBA lender. And these are the documents that you will have already prepared, and we will review it and make sure that your package is 100% ready before you ever have a conversation with the lender. And so along with the business infrastructure development through training, plus the Prep My Loan program, which is online with the digital planner, we can, I feel, remove the barriers to help small businesses access SBA guaranteed loan funds through your top lenders. I wouldn't see why there's any excuse if we present you 5 businesses from South Dallas who are actually ready and are prepared to access capital. And so that's what we're getting towards. And so my question to you, Herb, is how can someone find your top SBA lenders, approved lenders? Is there a website where they could go and find a list of those lenders?
What I can do, Cynthia, if it's okay, I can send you every month we pull the numbers every month to share it with the lending community, and so we can just share it with you as well. Yeah. You'll be surprised to see how many a few loans some of these organizations are doing, with the millions of dollars already. So we can share that. But as I said, we have more banks here than anywhere else in the U.S. We have, by the time the year ends, we will have 210 banks who would have made at least 1 or 2 loans here in the market. So it's a dynamic market from that perspective. What we need is probably more CDFIs, more banks that are willing to make loans in those communities that are underserved. And as you say, Cynthia, if you're so well prepared, the business goes to a bank, is likely to get a loan. What has happened is, we have a lot of the people who must admit who don't file income tax. So when they go to the bank, that's why they have to come to Cynthia to say, no, maybe you're still 2 years away from getting a loan. You have to start filling out income tax. Or they fill out income tax, it's showing that they're losing money year after year, but no bank understands. Right. So there are those issues. Yes. In communities. I think that's why we still have to struggle with it. You see, my idea is I'm already thinking of the next generation of kids. So we have to get them prepared to know that, the FICO score is so critically important. Yes. When we put it with the EIDL program started, and I used to do, I was always doing Zoom to communicate with the chambers of commerce economic development organizations to make them aware of the PPP program, EIDL program. And for the EIDL, the only requirement, the very first time the program started, end of March 2020, the only requirement is that you had a FICO score of 570.
Yes.
I tell you, you will not believe how many of my people, the people who look very much like me, had credit under 570.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's just, I cannot imagine it. Cynthia. So what I like to say to people when I talk to them, I'll be honest, I come from a country where we have no credit card, even up to date. They don't have credit cards. In order for you to buy something, you have to have the money to buy it.
Yes.
Here, they have 5 credit cards, 6 credit cards, 7 credit cards, and they still owe money. So that's another thing we have to make sure they understand as well. And I'm from that perspective, you're doing a great work. You're not going to find a world of people who are ready. I cannot imagine the 570. And the first time the program started, they didn't ask you any information at all. All they wanted to pull your experience, 570 or more, you get a loan. Then they started to see, wait a minute, there are too many people applying who don't even have a business. So they started to ask more information.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I think close to $100 billion in fraudulent loan applications and things like that. So yes, we have to work on them on the importance of your credit. It is you. It is you, the person talking. You want to have a good credit, and you talk to them many times. People would call me, "Hello, good morning. I'm looking for money. By the way, do they look at my credit?" I say, "Yes, unfortunately, they do. Try to work on it and call us back later."
Indeed. And so before we close out, I have one question from Legacy Mail and Shipping. Please go ahead with your question. If you have your question, Legacy Mail, please feel free to ask your question. Okay. Alrighty, they had raised their hand, and so maybe they'll chime in here soon. So in recap, we have opportunities here in the Dallas market. We are bringing more education centered and focused on retail, e-commerce, and franchise, which we feel are opportunities that people are taking advantage of in order to build small businesses. But what we're learning also is that we need bridge capital, and UPS is stepping up to the table and saying we want to get involved and help in this area in a big way. And that's wonderful. And I think that the model and strategy that we've designed will help for sure. Any final words that you'd like to say, Dora?
No, just to think of UPS as a trusted partner to small businesses. We're here to provide support. We're here to, provide logistical expertise. And it's what we do best. And so, we're happy to be a part of this initiative. And when I thank Mr. Austin, I think there are probably conversations that I need to have with you about ways to partner with the SBA. And we probably already do. And it's just my tenure at UPS has been short, but I've learned a lot. And I think there are ways for us to come together to really solve these issues and bring resources to the people who need it so that they can build wealth.
Agreed. And Herb, I want to say thank you so much for your insight. Every word that you said, I feel on a daily basis. I'm sure your SBDCs and your scores also feel the same. But I do believe that there's a pocket of small business owners that have gone untouched because they feel like that the resources are not for them and that they don't go after SBA guaranteed loans because they feel they're going to get a no. And they just keep struggling and pushing and moving in their businesses without the resources that are here to provide to and help them. And so it is my hope that we can prepare more small businesses that can access the resources that you're saying, hey, I'm here, it's available, and connect them and connect the right dots to you all. Any last words that you would like to share, Herb?
What I like to say is, I think, thank you again, Cynthia, for inviting me. And Dora, I think we ought to meet more often to do things together because we seem to have the same objective, that is helping small business start, expand, and grow so they can create jobs. And I think we ought to have this conversation a little bit more.
I agree. And lastly, for those who are watching now and those who may watch in the future, I will repost this in our blog on Start.Pivot.Grow.com. It will be available later on today, the video along with a recap of what we have shared in the blog post. And I will also ensure that we highlight over this next 8 months, highlight these opportunities with investing in America. These are tremendous opportunities that I don't want small business owners, that especially that we serve, miss out on. And I think that we can help them connect to these opportunities in a major way. And so be prepared for that. And thank you again so much. I appreciate both of you for joining me as we celebrate. And lastly, we will make the announcement of the winner of our grant opportunity from Integrality and Start Pivot Grow. And that winner that I am going to share with you all is Las Palmas Candles and Soaps. Las Palmas Candles and Soaps. And so they will be receiving an email with a congratulation and instructions, but every quarter we will host a grant application, a micro grant application for working capital for small businesses. Why? Because I'm dedicated to helping you guys access money and opportunities. So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day and continue supporting the community like you do.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.